Well, it's that time again, folks. Time to take a look at the Trump administration and see what is going on for this week, this month. There are a lot of really interesting news headlines right now, so we're going to try to quickly get through as many as possible. Real quick, before we get started with our first question, take a moment and click the like button. And if you like these types of political tarot readings, be sure to check out the playlist that I have, and it will be linked on the screen and at the end of the video. You can also just find it on my channel. Timestamps will be provided in both the description and in the comment section, so you can hop around from topic to topic and watch whichever parts you like or you're interested in. Feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, even if you're MAGA. Hey, I would love to hear what MAGA is saying at this point, honestly. What are you guys saying? Like, come on. All right, guys, let's get into our very first question for this reading. The first thing we're going to take a look at is the Koch brothers. They are suing Donald Trump over the tariffs, and the Supreme Court is kind of stuck in the middle because, well, most of them were handpicked by this massive GOP donor. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all of the details of the case. There's a lot to it. I encourage you to go and Google about the Koch brothers and the lawsuit that they're bringing against Trump for the tariffs, because it turns out he can't do tariffs. He can only do sanctions. So he really screwed up. But it's kind of scary. Well, for Trump, not for us, but it's kind of scary for Trump that his biggest supporters are turning on him, right? So let's start there with the Koch brothers. The Koch brothers lawsuit. Tarot, tell us a little bit about how this lawsuit's going to go. Will we see it come into fruition, or will they abandon it? Let's just see what we got here. We don't do reverse cards. Okay, interesting. So we have the card of waiting for the time to be right. So I think it's kind of interesting if you think of it in terms of like all the things Trump has done so far. And the first card up is telling us that the Koch brothers have likely been waiting for the right time. So that kind of gives you the sense that maybe they knew that there wouldn't be a strong lawsuit possible for some of the other things that were going on. But this one, maybe they feel like is a slam dunk case, which is kind of echoed in the Fool here and the Ace of Cups. Let's pull a few more cards. How's this case going to go? Are they going to pursue this case, rather? That'll be our question. So we have... Oh, interesting. So what's kind of cool about this is, what's kind of cool here is that we have this waiting for the right time to kind of strike while the iron's hot. And it is crowning a card of wealth. And I feel like this, honestly, this kind of feels like my tariff card at this point. And then we have like with this is a new problem. This is something new. I feel like maybe there is a sense that they had no idea that Donald Trump was going to. I mean, I know he said that he was going to do tariffs, but I think maybe they didn't know exactly how he was going to execute the task. So there's this sense of like emotions, very emotional. They're very like, there's a lot of emotions running high about the situation. I think he's going off script. He's doing things of his own accord. He's not really paying attention to what it is that they wanted him to do, which was probably the agreement on, like in the first place, is that like, we'll get you this far, and then once you're there, you're going to do this and that for us. And now that he's there, he's kind of going off script, and they're probably panicking about it a little bit. So we have like with the Wheel and with the Eight of Wands, I feel like things are just turning so quickly. Like there's so much change in the air with these two cards kind of like at the foundation of this spread so far, that nothing can really be set in stone at this point. The wheel is turning so fast. Fate is changing so fast. So let's say that because it does from this look like they will actually pursue this lawsuit, that they won't just let it go, at least the way things are now, because with the Wheel of Fortune over here, so much can change, like a butterfly flaps its wings and history is basically rewritten. So there's a lot of change in this, and I feel like that's kind of a warning that it's subject to change. But since it looks like they will go through with this lawsuit, let's say, how will this lawsuit play out for the Koch brothers? Well, actually, let's reframe it. How will this lawsuit play out for Trump? Because he is the one that I have the biggest energy connection to when I do these readings. And I don't feel like I have any type of channeled energy connection to the Koch brothers. So how will this play out for Trump, this lawsuit? And we're just going to stack the cards so that you can see them. So they're going to overlap a little. Change of perspective. King of Cups. Now this is interesting. I think he's going to feel a lot of emotions about this. I think that, you know, he likes to portray himself as high and mighty and like above all else. But realistically, I think he probably is a very, I don't want to say a sensitive person, but he's like a very emotionally unstable person. So with them doing this, I think it's going to change the way he looks at the situation. He's definitely going to fight back, because here we have like the tug of war card, the 5 of Wands. So he's not going to go peacefully into the good night. He never does. We keep hoping, but he never does. And by that, I just mean go away, go live in some other country far from the rest of us. Yeah, so he's not going to be real happy with it. But I think he's going to try to, you know, despite his emotions, he's going to try to make it seem to the public like everything's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing happened. I don't know the Koch brothers. I've never heard of them before. I have never met them. That's what he always says when he gets in trouble, is that he doesn't know anybody. He's never met them. He's never seen them before in his life. Let's get a couple more cards. Tarot, give us a little bit more insight on how this lawsuit will go for Donald Trump. So there's a good chance that he might actually face some repercussions for it, which makes a lot of sense, because up here we kind of get the information that the Koch brothers, who obviously probably know what they're doing. I mean, they probably know the law pretty well, and they probably have access to fantastic legal support. They waited for the right moment to strike, because I think there were things that they didn't agree with before. There were new things that were off script. So they waited patiently, and this is the moment that they think will have the most impact. So it makes sense that we're seeing the Justice card here, because Trump may actually get a little taste of his own medicine for this one. Like, this may have been a bridge too far. And, you know, that's the great thing, is like when you get too big for your britches, sometimes you get yourself in some trouble. So the Moon card, let's get, one more card. Okay. Trump is going to very much stand guard of all the things that he holds dear in this situation. He's going to gaslight us like he always does, obviously. And I think with these two cards together, when you put that energy together, you definitely kind of see he's going to deny everything. He wants to always maintain deniable plausibility. He doesn't ever want people to have dirt on him, so to speak. So he's going to very performatively tell the public, oh, look, everything's fine. I chose this. This was my choice. This is what I wanted all along. And he's just going to wipe the justice off of the plate and, just move on like nothing happened. So I get a pretty strong sense that they're probably going to shoot him down, but he's going to play dumb about it and then just pretend like it was his idea all along. So, all right, let's get to the next question. Something that's really interesting that's going to come up or be relevant, I think, in the Koch brothers lawsuit is the Supreme Court's going to be stuck in the middle somehow. Now, I don't know that they will have any opportunity to rule on this case or like have input on this case because, obviously that's not how our system works. But what I mean by this is the Supreme Court, like I don't know if I said this earlier, but they were selected by this very entity that is now turning on Trump. So I'm just curious, like, how are they going to get stuck in the middle? Like, how are they going to act when they're stuck in the middle? So Tarot, throughout this tariff lawsuit, will the Supreme Court play any type of role? Will they become relevant at any point in this particular lawsuit brought by the Koch brothers against Donald Trump for unlawful use of tariffs? Give us some insight. Well, there's that card again. So we've got, once again, the wealthy taking care of the poor. Oh, wow. Interesting. And I really shuffled the crap out of these cards, guys. So that's really pretty interesting. So page ones, this is someone, I don't know if this is a specific person regarding my question, but the energy of this card is someone who is off doing their own thing because they are so focused on themselves and what they want in the moment, that they are just indulging themselves in whatever. So it kind of sounds a little bit like Trump, which would make sense because here, if we give them, like the Koch brothers and the Supreme Court, a little bit of grace and we say, hey, at least, like, we know that they are kind of rogue, kind of untrustworthy. If we give them a little bit of grace and say, well, at least they're looking at the situation logically and being like, hey, you can't do this to people. You're going to starve everybody in this country. You're going to destroy our agriculture system. You're going to destroy countless jobs. Like, it's the ripple effect is going to be more like a tsunami. If we look at it from that perspective, then this would definitely be Trump's energy in this situation. And then here, once again, we have, look at all these cups I have. Aren't they fabulous? Don't look behind the curtain. Look at my cups. So again, kind of covering up. I feel like now that I'm looking at this, knowing what we know about the first part of the reading, I kind of feel like this case is going to slip under the surface and go back to the moon card from the last spread. I'm getting this sense now that this case is going to slip out of the spotlight and people aren't going to hear much about this. And then all of a sudden one day Trump will come out and be like, well, I decided I'm going to do this or that, when realistically it's because he lost a court case. And I know this is kind of straying from my original question, but as far as the Supreme Court, I feel like there is a tiny bit of sense in this reading of just the tiniest bit of inclusion of them. Let's get a few more cards. Like, what will their role be? Will they play a role? Will they have, like, maybe individually? And that's another thing that kind of keeps coming to mind is, like, individually, maybe, one or two justices is going to, like, speak publicly or, like, condemn or, have some type of input. So here's the moon card again. And that's funny because the moon card was popping up in my mind pretty heavily. And here he is sitting on top of it. There's going to be some type of trickery. There's going to be some type of sleight of hand with this situation. I think we already know. I think we already know what's going to happen. It makes sense. The Koch brothers are going to win. Trump's going to back completely off the tariffs. It's going to be over. But he's going to pretend like it was of his own accord. Because that's another phrase that keeps popping into my mind as I'm looking at these cards. But like with the Strength card and the Knight of Wands card, this is a fight, but it's a diplomatic fight. This is a taming the beast with a gentle hand, but also using brute force strength. So there's going to be a big fight. Big, big, big. I can't emphasize this enough. Big fight, and they're going to hide it. it's not going to be in the public eye, pretty much. Wow. That is pretty insane, guys. All right, let's move on to the next question. Now, I'm not going to lie, this next question makes me really excited, and I'm asking for my own personal curiosities. I don't know if you guys are going to be interested at all in this one. You should be. You should be. Everybody should be. Letitcia James has the authority to investigate Trump for insider trading. You know why? Because she's the New York AG. You know where Wall Street is? All right. Again, I'm not going to bore you with the details of the whole political fiasco. Please go and read about these news articles. They are infinitely fascinating and terrifying and all that stuff. But let's talk about Letitcia James. Is she going to investigate Trump? 3 cards. Will she investigate him for this, for insider trading? All right, new financial, back to the way things were. King of Swords. There's kind of a weak sense of power. I think this King of Swords, even though it did come out upside down, and it really shouldn't have, because I don't let my cards flip around like that. I don't know how it was upside down. I don't think that this is Donald Trump. It might be. It might be his energy coming through in the spread. But what really strikes me when I just kind of meditate on these cards is this sense of weak or weakened or diminished power. And I'm kind of getting the diminished from this side. And I'm also kind of getting it from the inclusion of a page instead of a king. And then I'm getting it that kind of the difference here where it shifts has to do with the great power divide between a King of Swords and just the Page of Pentacles. Let's dig a little further because this is unclear so far. Will Letitcia James open an investigation against Trump for insider trading? I think that card's wanting to come out. Okay. All right. She has choices, but I think she knows that some of the choices will fall apart because they're more illusion than anything. Oh, the Hanged Man. Okay, so I think she remembers a time of, first of all, I think that woman went through literal hell. I don't really know all the details of her personal story, but I think she went through literal hell over, her past dealings with Trump and his crazy behavior. I think the weakness that I'm kind of picking up on is her own fears. I think she is afraid of dipping back into this world and having to go through these processes again, because she knows how things go with Donald Trump, how he kind of weasels out of everything. And here again, we have, not only does this energy represent her and her fears and her perspective, but it also is kind of it's kind of addressing how Donald Trump seems to always face non-lethal punishment. And I don't mean anything bad, okay? I'm not saying literally lethal. It's a metaphor for the card, okay? But if we say he never went to jail for the things that he did. Any of us would have gone to jail. He didn't go to jail. That's non-lethal punishment. So his punishment, if he gets any, is a slap on the wrist. So I think there's a cluster of energy here where it's she's not only afraid to go back into that type of situation, she maybe wonders if she can handle it. She maybe wonders if there's any point, because the outcome tends to always be the same. It's always the same with him. He always gets away with whatever. Let's get a couple more cards because the energy is getting a little stronger on this side of the spread. Let's get a couple more tarot. Give us... Ooh, okay. You know what's funny is that card jumped out before I started filming. when I was doing my big shuffle. Yeah, so she knows going up against that type of financial energy is detrimental. It's too hard. She knows that no matter what she can prove, no matter, if she thinks that he for sure did it and it should be a slam dunk case, again, like the one we talked about before, he's going to manipulate the situation because he seems to have all this strange control. Like he can just orchestrate things and, get away with whatever he wants with little to no punishment. What else? She's kind of, she's looking at plans. She's thinking about, how could I go about this? Is it worth, again, confirmation, is it worth doing? Very likely not. Let's get one more card for this. Yeah, so here's Trump's energy coming in, and not just his, but I think all of the people he has on his side is this King of Pentacles energy, and, just going up against people who have money and have, what I really want to say is they have FU money, right? They can do whatever they want. When you have that kind of money, you get away with anything. So let's get one more card to finish the square spread over here, Tarot. Is there anything else we need to know? And then we'll wrap this one up. Okay, yeah. So, she knows what she's doing. She is a master in her career field. She's knowledgeable. She has everything, every skill and tool available to her to be able to pull this off. But it's all going to come down to money. So it's like one of those things where she's kind of at an impasse and she's just thinking, what's the point? No matter what I do, no matter how I present this case, no matter, what proof I have, he's going to get away with it because they have FU money. So, all right, let me see if I have another question and we will get to that. So let's just do like a 2 or 3 minute real quick Trump energy check out of curiosity. I love to do these because I feel like I get insight into the old Orange Cooter's mind, and like what his day is like. I do have some more questions. I want to film another video probably after this. And what would you guys think about a Lenormand reading? Because there's a question that I want to ask that I feel like Lenormand could probably handle better. The only thing is I am not as good with Lenormand as I am tarot. I'm studying, I'm reading so many books, and I'm getting there. But tarot is definitely my strong suit for sure. But let me know in the comments if you guys would want to see some Lenormand videos from me, because I really love it. And I would like to test it out and see if I can get right answers. So let's do a Trump energy check. Let's see what Trump's day is like today. Cards upside down. I looked at it for a second. I was like, what? I have a migraine today, so I'm a little bit confused. Okay. Trump's day. So we have him. What is he doing? He's back with this fusion. He's fusing his feelings. He attaches his feelings to financial situations. That's something I've noticed in all of his readings, is that his moods are like 100% dependent on his financial situation at the moment. It's so sad, but typical, I guess, of that personality type or whatever. So he's having a little bit of trouble with balance today, and it has to do with he's got a lot of choices. What kind of choices, Tarot? Give us some energy on the 7 of Cups over here. I also think that there's a little bit of a hint in that top line, and I don't want it to seem like I'm just saying this for funsies, because I really am kind of getting the feeling that there is a reference to he's having a very poor mental health day. But we'll see. We'll see what tarot tells us. And we'll go, oh, God, no, we got to do a choice. No, we're not going to do the choice because I don't think it fits in the context. Let's get, ooh. His choices are not good right now. Whatever this is coming with a whole lot of, how do I say this? So with swords, obviously we're talking about mental related things like, you know, logical and mental and, you know, your mental fortitude. Yeah, that's, oh wow. This just confirmed what I was saying before I pulled these 3 cards. He's having a really bad mental health day today. Guys, if he's on the news at any point on, what is today? April 15th, watch him, because this is really emphasizing he is not okay today, mentally and subsequently emotionally. So in the context of that, now that we know about that, holy cow. So what does this mean then? So he's back to the financial issues. This is not financial in this context. This is, he's got a whole bunch of people around him. They are watching him like a hawk. He is lots of padding. There is a lot of padding around him right now today. People just kind of like, I keep seeing like a news clip of just, you know, his entourage is just buzzing around him like bees because they know that he's having one of those kinds of days. But they're pretty confident that they can get through it. They're pretty confident that they can get, you know, maybe tomorrow will be better. Wow. Holy cow. That's insane. All right. Well, I guess we'll stop there. I'm blown away by this because as soon as I really started looking at that, I was like, oh, is this talking about his mental health today? Yes, it is. All right, guys, I don't want this video to be too long, like I said, so I'm going to cut it off there. Please don't forget to click the like button, leave a comment, all that good stuff. Check out my description. I've got links to some cool stuff there. Follow me on like Blue Sky. I've been trying to use Blue Sky a lot. So, you know, hit up my links in the description box. Check those out. And if you know anybody who likes political tarot, feel free to send this video to them. Tell them to check it out. And if you like political tarot, be sure to check out my playlist. It will be linked in all of the usual places. And until I see you in the next video, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Bye, everybody.